Hello and welcome to another episode of Agvancements, the Minecraft series in which I explore the various revolutions of agriculture and hopefully we learn something about agriculture along the way. I'm your host, Brendan Black, and this is the first episode of this I've recorded in a little while now. So we're going to go ahead and try to hop back into things so I can remember my commands here. I am hoping to start getting back into the swing of things with this series in full effect here pretty soon. I know the last episode I recorded was not a very productive one, so today is going to be a very productive episode. However, that means I'm not going to have as much commentary on this episode. So my goal for today is twofold. First things first, I want to make as much progress as possible towards the second revolution of agriculture. In order to do so, we're going to build a series of settlements here in our little base here. Let me do my weeds real quick while I'm explaining this. So we're going to create a series of settlements all around our base here, establishing essentially the first agricultural colony of our world. And this will not be the only agricultural colony. We'll expand to other areas and build out in those places as well. But I wanted to get some kind of established base of operations here. And I wanted to originally build it next to a riverfront just because that's how the first agricultural operation in civilization was first created. However, I don't think that's going to be entirely possible. So we're going to do things a little bit differently here. We're going to build our operation in this whole valley area that we have kind of secured for ourselves. And then once we build up all those different houses, we're going to build farms in their backyards as well. Once all those farms are built, my goal is to get villagers to move into those houses. I don't know how realistic that's going to be. So we're going to be doing some terraforming, knocking down some of these trees, and really establishing a well-built little community here with paths leading to all the different houses and all the different farms being polycrop farms, kind of like what I've got on my house. And then once we get all that established, we can actually start moving more towards a agricultural industry style of production, and that's what's going to transition us into the second revolution. Now, the exciting and not so exciting part about the second revolution of agriculture is that is when agriculture became a business. So we are going to get to take advantage of that and treat agriculture like a business, and in doing so, each of the different houses in this little block that we're going to be building are eventually going to have specialized agricultural products that they are mostly focusing on. So like our house might be growing carrots, and another house might be growing potatoes, and another house might be growing wheat, and that's kind of like our established economy that we're going to have here. Once that's established, then we'll be able to grow and develop more as a community, eventually into hopefully the first city of this world, and then I'll expand out and create more agricultural civilizations across the world in different areas, different biomes, and that sort of thing. So those are kind of my long-term big plans for this world. As for today, as I'm already doing, I'm going to start terraforming this area. I'm going to clean up some of these ravines and make them not so scary. I actually might go down and explore some of these ravines and get some more materials from them and that sort of thing. Do some mining and everything like that. And then I will clean up this above ground area to make it suitable for building more houses and settlements. What that means is this is probably going to take me several hours. Did that firefly just poof into nothing? Okay. Cool. Not going to question it. What that means is this is probably going to take me several hours, and so I'm not going to have every bit of what I do on screen, but I'll put up like flashes of me building the different houses, of my mining trip, of me terraforming things, just so you guys can see, kind of what I did and what my process was, and then we'll kind of flash to the end of the episode of me having everything built and explaining the future plans for this operation here. So I wanted to make it a little bit fun, so I think what we're going to end up doing is, as I'm terraforming all of this, I'm going to interject a little bit with some random ag trivia, some random ag facts, some things I can teach you guys, some lessons, some things that we haven't done in a little while. And then after everything is built, then we're going to try to accomplish some of our advancements in this episode. So I was looking at our different advancements that we've already done, and some of these are not as applicable to agriculture. Like we're not going to go get a totem of dying, of undying just yet, because that's not really part of the agricultural mission. We'll get one eventually, once we worry about all the villagers and trading and all that. But for the most part, a lot of these don't really have to do with agriculture. It's the husbandry, farmer's delight, and sustainability tabs that I want to focus more on. But I think I want to break these up in different ways. So husbandry, I want to focus on for this first revolution. And we're not going to do everything in here. Like, I don't even know where there are hippos, so we can't feed a hippo a melon for this advancement. I honestly didn't even know hippos were part of one of the mods I added to this, but apparently it is. We're probably not going to find an axolotl. but we can do some of these other things. So we can, you know, get a glow squid's ink sac and make a sign out of it. It's not super agricultural, but we can make it work. We can continue making progress towards eating everything in the game. We can't get netherite quite yet, but we can start upgrading our hoe. We haven't even seen a cat yet, so we can't really tame all the cats. We can't breed all the animals quite yet either. But some of these things we can start to work towards. The goat one's going to be difficult. I think I need to double check, because I want to say that genetic animals actually took goats out of the game. If it did, that means I'm going to have to temporarily disable genetic animals so we can get this advancement and then bring the mod back into the mod pack, which is a little unfortunate. And honestly, I've been on the fence about keeping genetic animals just because it is a cool mod. That's what gives us these different breeds of cows. Have I always had 4? Okay. That one's 3 days old. That's a month old. That is a year old. That's a year old. Do I not have any bulls? These are all, excuse me, these are all cow. Okay, that's an issue. Anyways, so I essentially what I'm thinking is I might just do away with genetic animals altogether. I might keep it on for a couple episodes just to teach some lessons with it, and then I think I might get rid of it because it's going to limit some of our progress in this mod pack. So we'll kind of cross that bridge. You guys can let me know what you think about that, if you think it's worth getting rid of genetic animals, because it is cool, but it's mostly for like chickens and stuff like that. Like there's very limited options for breeding things like sheep and pigs and other animals in the mod pack, and I just don't want to be that limited in my options. And especially if we're going to try to get an advancement that has to do with goats and we can't find any goats because of the mod pack, that's going to make things a little difficult. So we're not going to worry about that. There are some other advancements that we can do though. So like in Farmer's Delight, for example, we can do this shear a fully mature mushroom colony. That's one of these guys, so we can shear one of those. We'll do that later today. We've also got, you know, the tall tomato. So I said a couple episodes ago I didn't know what this rope was for, hanging over this tomato. I remember what it was for now, and I think I have to make it one more rope down. So actually, let's do that right now. We'll see if it works. If you put one more rope down, ideally the tomatoes should grow into that rope. So we have some extra rope here. I'm getting very distracted already. This is not good. But this is the kind of stuff that I want to get back into doing. More actual advancements, more progress on the Minecraft side of things instead of just the agriculture side of things. Can we... Hello? There we go. Okay, so now, in theory, the tomatoes should start growing up that rope, and we should get the advancement for the tall tomato. Yeah, the tall tomato. If we can get a rotten tomato, we can throw it at a raider, and then we can actually get another advancement there, but that's another day. We can't cultivate every crop quite yet because we haven't found them all. We are going to start moving into like the skillets and the different methods of cooking once we get into the second revolution. But again, I don't want to do that just yet until we get all of our houses built. But that's one of the things I want to talk about too, is the second revolution was a very mechanically oriented revolution, where a lot of the advancements were based off of mechanization of agriculture, and not so much automation like we have today, but more like the creation of... What just happened? Did I look up? What are you... Okay. More so the creation of like... I'm just going to create some bread. No, wait, I wasn't going to create some bread. What was I going to do? I'm losing my mind here, guys. I'm going to eat some carrots for a second. More so the creation of mechanical tools, so things like the mechanical reaper, the cotton gin, some of these machines that later evolved into things like tractors and the technology we have today. There's one other thing I want to talk about. So let me finish my thought before I get there. I'm so distracted. Okay, let's look at the pretty cows for a second. So the second revolution was entirely oriented around the idea that agriculture was now going to become a business. In order to become a business, it needed to be more financially feasible to farm. And so that became the priority of agriculture, not sustaining oneself, but sustaining one's community. And so people began to monocrop. They began to use mechanical machinery. They began to use more advanced cooking materials like skillets and pots and pans. Okay, so as those things evolved, and before the history nerds come after me, I know those things were in the first revolution too. We're just going to play it off for the second revolution for the sake of argument. But those things advanced more in the second revolution, especially as agriculture became more industrialized. Then in the third revolution is where all the chemicals and that sort of thing came in. And that's why we're going to focus on the sustainability mod for the third revolution, because this is all about taking care of the environment. And when we start bringing in pesticides and fertilizers, that's where things are going to start getting heated. Hello, chicken. So that's the goal for the next few episodes, is building this, starting to advance into that second revolution. That's where we're going to experiment a ton with different cooking materials and making all of the different food things we can make. I still have the goal of making a burger one day. We can do it. We just need to find cabbage. We're like almost there. Wait, do we have cabbage? We don't have cabbage. But there's one other thing I wanted to add in too. You guys may notice, if I look at wheat, it says summer and autumn. If I look at carrots, it says spring and autumn. The modded crops aren't going to have it. Oh, some of them do. Okay, so like onion has spring and autumn. Sugarcane has summer. Rice has summer and autumn. Potatoes have spring. So what you guys may have noticed is that these crops now have seasons. That's because I've added a mod that is called the Serene Seasons mod. And essentially what this mod does is it makes it so Minecraft now has a seasonal rotation. And so all 4 seasons are now in the game. I think what we're in right now is spring, but I'm not entirely sure. If we have, we do have some sugarcane. So one of the things you can do with the seasonal, with the Serene Seasons, okay, that's fine. One of the things you can do with the Serene Seasons mod, that's not how that works, is you can create a calendar. Boom, calendar. And you can't really use it. It's a little weird. But what you can do with the calendar is you can look up this season sensor thingy. And, oh, I need quartz for it. Shoot. Okay, well, maybe that's not going to work out then. And this season sensor is supposed to tell you how far into a certain season you are. So this mod is based off of the number of days that have passed in-game. And so essentially, our seasons are going to move very slowly. I tried testing it in a creative world, and I literally kept changing it to night and sleeping and doing it over and over and over again. And from what it seems like, every 2 days is 1 day for the season. So like, you know, every time I sleep, that's going to be 2 passes of the season. And so it took, like, I slept like 12 times and got 6 passes on a season. And the season sensor basically just said like, you're 6 days into this season, and it didn't really give me much indication as to when the season was going to change. So I think it's going to take a little while. But this mod adds a lot more than just changing weather. There's changing temperatures, so now things can freeze during the winter. It actually impacts how well crops grow, and so it's going to make it so we can only grow certain crops in certain seasons. So that's going to also modify our ability to effectively farm, thus further increasing the need for a community-based agricultural lifestyle that allows us to get crops from our neighbors when we can't grow those crops during our own seasons. So that's kind of the motivation behind this this new progression in the series is I added a mod to make Minecraft more realistic because one of the biggest factors of agriculture that makes it different than any other industry in the world is we rely on nature to make our product. And if nature is not cooperating, because the seasons often don't, it's up to us to adapt to those situations. And we don't have GMOs in this mod pack yet. We kind of do. We have Agricraft's genetic plant selective breeding thing, but we don't quite have GMOs the way that we had them in the real world yet. And so in case, or for anyone who doesn't know, the way we usually get around seasonality in the real world is we use GMOs or we use selective breeding techniques to allow crops to grow outside of season, or we use greenhouses. And you can actually build greenhouses in this mod pack using the Serene Seasons mod, and that allows you to grow these crops outside of season. But we're nowhere close building greenhouses until we get past the second revolution of agriculture, which again, the seasons are going to be coming, our crops are going to be dying, and unless we have a way to grow more crops or have people who are growing those crops, we're not going to be able to maintain our food supply throughout the cold seasons. So we need to get moving on this, make sure it is done quickly. And the way we're going to do this is I actually am going to need a little bit of help. So I'm going to add a guy to our farming operation here that's going to help us manage the crops while I'm building houses, and that's going to be the first thing we're going to do today. I know this episode has already been all over the place. I apologize for that. I also need to make my house look a little bit nicer. It's kind of trashy, I'm not going to lie. Let me throw this into there. Oh, geez, I'm already like super low on storage. Cool. We'll throw you into there. And that. And that. Okay. Do Do I have iron somewhere? I do. There. Shears. There is one other mod in this mod pack that we have not really interacted with much, and we're going to interact with it right now, and it's going to be very exciting. I need a chest. This is a mod that I have been super excited to get started with, but I haven't really had a strong idea as to when I wanted to introduce it, and I think today is the best day of any. So this is going to be kind of a touchy subject. In the history of agriculture, it is well known that agriculturalists often had support from outside sources when managing their agricultural operations. Now, that support often was not ethical, but that support later evolved into more ethical forms as time went on. And so farm workers today are an incredibly valued member of the agricultural community and society, and incredibly important for our ability to maintain our agricultural production in today's economy. And farm workers are... There's a lot of discussion going on right now about the state of farm workers in the United States, and we're not going to get into that today. But what I do want to get into is creating our own little farm worker that's going to help us with our operation here today. Okay, so that's not how I wanted to place that, but I don't want to break my... Oh, screw it. I'll break my path for now, and then I will fix it. So there is a mod called the Straw Golem. This is a Straw Golem. And our straw golem, he's only going to live for 7 days, so we have to move quickly. But while we are working on our farm, or working on our houses, excuse me, this little guy, is going to work on our operation. If there are any crops that can be harvested, he's going to harvest them. He's going to place them in that chest for us. And that's his entire purpose in life. Sounds a little sad, I know, but it's not. He's going to be a great little worker for us. He's going to do a ton of great things. All I have to do is tell him. Let's see if I remember how to do this. I need a rake. Hold on. Do I have? I need to start carrying a rake on me. Let me get the weeds down for this guy first. There we go. Where'd he go? Did he climb on the dude? Get over here. Where do you think you're going? Okay, let me get an open hand. Where are you? Okay. You know what? Give me just a sec. I need to figure out how this guy works. I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. So he's got the pumpkin. Okay, buddy. Now you need to go to this chest. There he goes. Nice and slow. Okay, so I think... I'm wondering if there's some conflict with the modded crops, because it seems like he's not wanting to pick the crops that are like Agricraft crops. I'm wondering if that's because like if he's like worried about messing up the genetic like variation of the different seeds and everything. But he's supposed to auto harvest crops and then place them in this chest over here. So yeah, the pumpkin's in there now. So he can do that. He's still trying to escape the little stinker. Go to work. There are crops here that need you to harvest them. So like that guy. Oh, I guess. Can you take those? Can you? No, you won't pick him up? Okay, fine. So that maybe my plan did not work. Maybe he's not going to be a very good farmhand for us. But you know, we'll give him a chance. We'll give him some time. We'll see what he does. You are literally right next to some tomatoes. Just harvest them. Failure. Okay. This did not go as planned, and that's a little disappointing. So we're going to go ahead and leave him here. Even if he's not able to actually work on the farm, I guess he could just hang out here. He's only got 7 days to live, so I guess we'll come back and check on him, and hopefully he does not perish in the time that we are working on the houses, but he very well might. So, oh well, that's a little sad. There is one other thing I wanted to check on, because there's another type of golem that we can actually make it with this mod pack. I just need to check on it and see what it actually does to know if it's going to be of any use to us. So I will be right back, and I will check on what that is. Okay, so I've done my research. The other type of golem that we're going to create is a fun little guy. Just grab this block here. So the straw golem is there to help us harvest our crops and take care of our farm. This golem is here to help us defend our farm from any potential enemies that we might deal with. You guys remember like the bad grass and stuff that spawns whenever you don't take care of the environment? Well, this guy is specifically designed to handle the bad grass. So this is, well, that's anticlimactic. The mud golem. So the mud golem is part of the seeds mod, along with the bad grass and all that, and his entire purpose is defending against enemies. So he can shoot creepers, he can attack the bad grass. I don't know if he fights like zombies and skeletons and that sort of thing, but anything that might cause damage to a farm, he can handle. So he's going to be our little guardian outside. We're going to sleep real quick, and then knowing that our farm and our homestead is in his hands, I trust that he will be okay, and I'm going to go ahead and start building all of our little settlements. You got it, mud golem? You gonna be okay? All right, I believe in you. Okay, so yeah, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and kind of fast forward. All right, little straw golem, you have fun with what you are doing. I wish you luck and grace, and I'm sorry for the fate that will be before you very soon. While we're here, let's try doing that. So we can harvest these. Does it have to be the red mushroom colonies, we think? Because oh, they're year-round, I see. Because that is what the advancement said, was sheer fully mature mushroom colony. And this is rich soil. Weird. I don't know. Oh well. I'll play with advancement stuff in a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and continue on our goal of trying to build all these settlements. So I will see you guys in just a little while. Okay, so during my little mining trip, I ran into this little guy. And you know, I'm not typically one that'll just kill an animal for no reason, but like, look, he's stuck in a tiny little pond in a cave system. This is not a good quality of life for this poor squid. And we do have a advancement that is, where's it at? Make the text of a sign glow. So it's a win-win. I'm sorry, Mr. Glow Squid. Your sacrifice will not be in vain. Okay, back to the montage. So I just got done mining and came back and checked on the farm and everything, expecting, like, you know, maybe the straw golem got to work. He's just sitting here. It's raining, and he just decided to take the day off, you know, from doing nothing because he doesn't harvest my crops anyways. What do I feed you for? Anyways, back to the montage. Okay, so there's a new development with the straw golem. I just noticed that his hunger level is starving, and I've tried feeding him wheat, and I cannot figure out why that is not working. Like, what else does he need to eat? What else do straw golems eat? I can't find it anywhere online. Okay, if any of you ever use a straw golem mod and you have some ideas, please let me know, because I am at a loss for what to do with this guy. This one's unfortunately probably going to die, but if we decide to do more straw golem stuff, I should probably know how they work. Unfortunately, our straw golem here also let our entire crop operation nearly die, so I'm not sure how attached I am to him anyways. But it's okay. We're back. We planted some more wheat, and we're okay. He's just not doing so hot. We also planted some pumpkins back here. Yep, so we got a little pumpkin patch growing back here. I do plan on expanding this eventually. I just want more pumpkins so I can make more mud golems. I made a new mud golem, but I don't know where he went. I'm wondering if they don't last very long. Like, maybe they only last a couple days or something. Wait a second. This is snow. Are we in winter? You know what? It might be winter, because there is snow, but there's no snow in the plains, but there also wasn't any snow in this biome before. I'm confused. Maybe this is just part of the weather mod, or part of the seasons mod making things colder. I don't know about that. But what I will say is we've made a decent amount of progress in terms of the terraforming. We've made a little bit of progress in terms of our house. We've done some inventory stuff. We've done some mining. We did some resource gathering. This is kind of the status as it stands right now with the terraforming. I've made a little path here. I'm going to continue to work on this. I'm going to continue to start establishing the foundations for houses and tearing down trees. I'm probably going to end up covering that hole, or at least putting a safeguard on it so our community doesn't walk straight into it. And then that's going to be our little plan here. So I'm going to keep working on this. I'm actually going to take a break for right now. I'll probably finish this up tomorrow, but the way you guys will see it, it'll all be one big montage. So yeah, that's the end of our break for right now. I will see you guys when we get back to the montage. Okay, so actually we're going to snap back for a second, because I remembered right before I started to log out that I did say I wanted to get some kind of advancement done today. And we planted our rope above the tomatoes, but that's not really doing anything. I'm starting to think that the Agricraft mod might be messing with a lot of the other mods that are supposed to be functioning here, because yeah, there should definitely be some things happening that are not happening as a result of like these weeds and as a result of the crossbreeding and the genetic codes of the plants. We might need to make some adjustments to our mod pack, because some of these mods are not as compatible as I was hoping they were going to be. So I might play with that off screen. I might make some adjustments before next time. I haven't decided yet, but in the meantime, I did want to get at least one advancement done today while we were still together. And so let me do that real quick. So we're going to make a smithing table, and the smithing table is one that I feel comfortable with making during our first revolution here, because it's not one that really like changes a whole lot about our farming operation or our available tools. Like, I'm not going to make an enchantment table for a long time, because enchantment tables are ones that I would think would generally be like, there's no agricultural revolution that was more magically enhanced than others. So I'm treating enchantments almost like automation, and so I probably won't be able to actually get access to them until closer to like the third or fourth revolutions. Same with these diamonds here. I'm probably not going to make a whole lot of things that require diamonds until later on, despite how much we found in the mines, because I saw some more that I want to go back and mine at some point. Also the gold, there's definitely some stuff that we can make out of the gold that I might allow, just because gold was a present resource during the first revolution, but became more prevalent during the second. And so I think we'll kind of, I'll let you guys decide. Should I be allowed to use the gold now, or should I wait until we get to the second revolution? Either way, I think the smithing table is safe to use, because it's something that I don't think is going to really change much about the way that we are interacting with the world at the moment. So what we need to do is we need to create a composter, if I can remember how to do that. I think it's like, wait, is it just this? It's just that. Okay, sweet. So we got a composter. I need my iron back, or at least one iron. So we're going to go for the seeds achievement called, what's it called again? A place for bad ideas. Obtain trash. Boom. And there we go. And we have a new advancement. So I'm going to throw this trash can right here. I actually don't know what the trash can does. I'm assuming it helps you just get rid of things. So let's just like grab something that we don't need, like grab some rotten flesh, for example. Oh, does it make compost? Makes garbages. Okay, what are garbages used for? Okay, that makes a garbage block. Which makes stuff, which makes repairers. Big repairer. What is the okay? So I might need to do some research into the repairers. If you guys know what repairers do, maybe you can let me know. But we're gonna take a pause on that because that's all seeds mod stuff that I don't really know about and I don't want to get into just yet. But I'll do some research and figure out what those things do too if you guys don't get back to me in time. So yeah, with that, I think I'm going to take a pause for the night and finish the rest of this tomorrow. But like I said, you guys won't see a difference. It's just going to be a little lapse in our montage. So I will catch you guys in just a minute. Okay, so after doing some research, it says that the straw golem eats only wheat, which I knew that he ate wheat, but I fed him wheat and his hunger level didn't go up at all. I'm gonna waste an entire stack on this guy and his hunger level doesn't go up at all. What the heck? Is it because I prolonged his life longer than it was supposed to live? What happened? I don't know. I'm kind of giving up on our straw golem friend, I'm afraid. Are you okay, buddy? You've moved spots now. Why is that? Are you trying to go out the door? I didn't see you walk. What's wrong, buddy? Okay, so I also figured out, I did some research, and apparently, yeah, the straw golem is only able to interact with vanilla crops. So these are all considered Agricraft crops, even though they are traditional vanilla crops. They are they have the Agricraft like gene mutation going on with them, and so that makes it so they can no longer be harvested by the straw golem, unfortunately. So basically the straw golem mod is essentially useless in this mod pack because it can't interact with most of the mods that we have in this mod pack. It can, just not the important ones to the mod pack's actual like whole theme, which means unfortunately that I will be uninstalling straw golem as soon as we are done with this one. So if anyone was attached to the straw golem, I'm sorry. He only got a one episode debut, but we'll be seeing him off after this. Okay, and with that, back to montage mode. Yeah, there's a mud golem. So we're going to put a pause on the episode for right now. Let me show you what I've done. So first things first, not a whole lot of new materials to really account for. You guys saw me make the trash can. Let me sleep real quick and I'll show you guys what I've done. Now I have not finished, as you can see from outside, I have not quite finished our settlements yet, but I have finished the first one. And so I'll show you guys the first one. Oh, I need to do my weeds on my pumpkins real quick. Let me do that real quick. But I'll go and give you the house tour in a second. But our crops are still doing okay. I've had to de-weed them a little bit. All of our pumpkins are dead. I really like Agricraft for the educational opportunities it provides, but the weeds are really annoying. Like, that is honestly one of the most frustrating parts of this mod, is that I am continuously having to take weeds down. And like, yes, weeds are a huge pest in agriculture, and they are an important thing you have to keep under control. But at the same time, you don't step away from your crops for a couple days and the weeds have destroyed all of your crops. It doesn't happen like that. I have a ton of pumpkin seeds right here. I'll just use these. So that's a little bit frustrating that that's how that keeps turning out. But, you know, it's fine. I just need to be better about taking care of them. And now I have even more crops to take care of because our new house over there has crops. So let me show you guys what I built. Okay, so I built this path. We've got stairs now. I'm going to continue expanding the path as we get more settlements. But this is the first official settlement of our new agricultural village that we are building here. So I'll give you the tour. This is the inside of it. It's very small, but it's, you know, doesn't need to be fancy. It just is something that the owner of the house will be able to live in effectively. It's kind of going for like the old cabin vibes, where it's like you have like your bed and your kitchen and everything is just all in one room. And so that's kind of what we're going for here. And in the back we have a small little garden. Let me knock these weeds down too real quick. We have a small little garden, and so we're starting to get into some like more specialized cropping here. So we have carrots, tomatoes, and wheat specifically, and those are not basically cross planted the way that mine are in my farm. And the idea behind that is that we're going to be able to start specializing our farms here as I build more settlements. So like after I build the second settlement, I'm probably going to start specializing my farm out, and then over time as we build more settlements, we will change all of their farms to be specialized to one type of crop. So like that house might be like the tomato house, then another house might be like the wheat house, and then I'll be like the pumpkin house or something like that. So we'll figure all those things out as we need to. But yeah, so it took me a considerable amount of time to go through and do all of the mining, to gather all the wood. I planted a bunch of trees you can see here that I'm going to knock down here pretty soon, to terraform this entire space, to get our land where it needs to be to build these settlements. A lot of work has gone into this project here, and all of that was for this one little house to be built. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it there. I've got some other things I need to do today, and so I'm going to go ahead and stop the episode where we're at. But next episode, we will continue building more settlements. I'm just going to build them all like that one. It'll be a little basic. I might change some things around. Maybe I'll use some different wood types, or I'll change around the patterns on things. But for the most part, they're going to be that general shape, that general size, and they're going to have that general farm design. I might do it with some with like a little like side garden instead of a back garden, but we'll kind of figure that out. But yeah, for the most part, that is the plan. We're going to have this entire place filled up with different settlements, all growing different things, and that will officially transition us into the second generation of agriculture. Second revolution. I keep saying second generation. The second revolution of agriculture, which will allow us to actually start utilizing some of our resources to make sure that none of our stuff dies. Is this a sheep? It is a sheep. Yeah, I think I might have to cancel genetic animals for the purposes of being able to get goats, but we'll do that later. I'm not too worried about it right now. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and wrap things up there. I think that's kind of the best place to leave things. Once we get into that second revolution, I think I'm going to start working with more selective breeding techniques, and I'll start kind of playing with Agricraft more in that regard, and hopefully that'll help us keep our weeds down. Because honestly, that is the biggest problem right now, is just the weeds are killer. Like, I cannot stay on top of my weeds well enough. It's just, there's too much. And my crops are growing well, which is great, but the weeds are killing them, and that makes it very obnoxious to maintain my production levels here. So, but hey, That's agriculture. That's real life. That's how actual farming operations run, and pests are a huge part of that problem, and that's why we have pest control, and that's why we use things like pesticides and herbicides to maintain some of these issues. And we're just not at that stage of agriculture yet. So in the early days of agriculture, this is kind of how things were. This is why people weren't allowed to have jobs that weren't on the farm. Dang it. Because they had to spend all day taking care of their farming operations, because the weeds and the bugs would come and kill everything. So so this is real agriculture. This is very realistic to how things are. We just need to be a little bit better about time and resource management. And unfortunately our helper here is not going to make it much longer. So we'll pay our respects to him at that time, because I cannot figure out how to make him not starve anymore. But on the bright side, we are getting insane levels of production. I mean, like, we're getting tons and tons and tons of carrots and tomatoes off of this farm. So even if we do have to scrap this farm and start over, I do think that we'll be in good shape, especially as we start playing with the genetics and everything, because that'll help us get maximized production levels, which we are already doing pretty well on, as you can see from our chest here. So that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and pause things where we're at. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our montage today. Sorry there wasn't as much of the commentary side of things. I will try to do some more educational stuff and some lessons in the next episode. I'll go over some different ideas with the livestock some more. We're going to play with our cows a little bit more. We'll play with our crops and do some genetic modification, not in like a GMO sense, more in like a selective breeding sense. But I think that kind of puts us in a good place. I also want to redo my house, but we'll do that another day. For right now, that's where we're going to leave things at. Where do you think you're going? Get back over here. There we go. And you guys still need to help me name my wolf. I don't know what to name him yet. So we will figure all that out. Can I not? You don't do the genetic animals thing, huh? You guys can help me figure all that out at another time, but I think that's going to wrap up where we're at. We're going to go ahead and continue this next time. Okay, so like I said, hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, please feel free to like and share this episode as we continue to expand our series here. I hope that this is an exciting series for you guys, as it is for me. This is going to continue to get more and more fun as we keep going through this. So please stay tuned. Check out what we got going on next episode, and we will continue to expand into the next generation of agriculture. I'm going to give myself a little lantern real quick, because I feel like I can use one now that I've put 4 in the other house. That's much nicer. There we go. Okay, that's all I have for you guys. Check you all out in the next episode. I'm kind of tired at this point, so I will see you guys next time. And don't forget, if you ate today, thank a farmer.